In the last class, we have discussed the two algorithms involved in bankers. First one was safety algorithm and second one was resource request algorithm. Safety algorithm was there to check whether the current state of a system is safe or not. If the current state of the system is safe, then we can say there will be no deadlock in that case. Then second algorithm was resource request algorithm, where we are checking that if any process is placing any request for a new resource, can we allocate that resource to the process or not? What we were doing here, actually we were pretending that after allocating that resource to the process, do we have the new state as a safe state? If the new state will be the safe state, then we will actually allocate that resource to the process. Then we have seen a numerical. In this numerical, we have calculated the need matrix. Uh, Here I am revising you once again. We have given 5 processes P0 to P4 as written here. 3 resource types A, B and C. Total A 10, total B 5, total C 7. Okay. Then we have given the snapshot of the system at some time T0. Here we have given the maximum demand of any process. A process cannot demand more than these numbers. Process P0 can demand 7A, 5B and 3C at the max. P1 is having the requirement of 3A, 2B and 2C. Out of this maximum demand, how many resources we have already allocated to these processes? This is written in allocation matrix. Max is the total demand, what it actually require. What we have already allocated is written here. And this is the number of available resources in your system. If this available was not given to you, you can also calculate this available using this allocation. In allocation, you can see we have allocated 7 A's to different process. 2A here, 3A here, 2A here. 2 plus 3 plus 2, 7 A's are allocated to different processes. Total A's were 10, so we have 3 remaining. So in this way we can calculate the available values, available matrix. Now what is the current need of these processes? Current need means uh, what is the actual numbers of the resources these processes still requires. That is the max minus allocation. But you cannot subtract these values like 753 minus 10. It should not be there. You have to subtract 0 from 7, 1 from 5, 0 from 3. So these are the individual values. You cannot say that this is 322, this is 902. No, it's not that. 9A, 0B and 2C. So you should subtract A from A, B from B, and C from C. In this way, if we are calculating the need matrix, you can see 7 minus 0 will be 7, 5 minus 0 will be 4, 3 minus 0 will be 3. So 7, 4, 3 will be the first row. Let's check. 7, 4, 3 is the first row. Similar to that, 322 minus 200. 3 minus 2, 1. 2 minus 0, 2. 2 minus 0, 2. So 1, 2, 2 will be the need matrix. 1, 2, 2. In this way, you need to calculate the complete need matrix. Need matrix generally will not given to you. You have to calculate from the available and max demand of the processors. If anyone is having any doubt in between, may raise their hand. So now the problem is looking like this. Allocation already given to you, max already given to you, available already given to you or you have calculated, and you have calculated the need matrix. Okay, now you have to check whether this situation whether this situation represents a safe state or unsafe state. This is the actual problem. Okay, you need to check whether this situation is a safe state or unsafe state. For this, I am taking this snapshot. Now, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
So this is the current situation. Now we need to check whether this condition is representing a safe state or an unsafe state. Now, how will you check? We need to follow the safety algorithm here. This safety algorithm we need to follow. How this algorithm is working, now I am going to show you. Now, first you need to check, can you Okay, first let me show you once again. This is the algorithm where you are taking a work is equal to available, then you are making a finish for all the processes will be false, and then you will check such I, uh, which process has not been executed till now. Then you need to check the need less than work, and you need to check again and again this thing. So I am showing you in a short way, that will be very helpful for you. Now you need to check first, us first take the work. Work will be your available. Available means I am directly representing 3, 3, 2. This will be your work matrix. Everything should be clear to you. Work is now, sorry, your work is 332. Now you need to check the need matrix for these processes. You have to check from the top to bottom which process you can execute with respect to this work. Is there any process whose need you can fulfill with this amount of work? Work means availability. Can we allocate these number of resources to process P naught? Process P naught is required 743. Can we allocate this 7A, 4B, and 3C to this process P naught? Do we have such amount of?
No,
No.
no.
Can we allocate the resources to P1? P1 requirement is 122. 1A,
Yes.
2B, and 2C. So we can fulfill P1's request. Okay, now we can say P1 will be executing. P1 can execute. So here we are writing P1. P1 can execute. Then P1 will be executing after certain amount of time. P1 will release all the resources it is having. How many resources P1 will be having when P1 was executing? 200 plus 122, because we have already allocated 122 from this work. So P1 will release all the maximum allocation whatever we have supplied to P1. P1 was already having 200. We have given 122 additionally. So what will be the final resource numbers in P1? That is 322, because we have already calculated this one. If you are adding 200 plus 122, it will give you the maximum demand. So P1 will release all the resources it is having. What are the resources? That are 322. So your work will be work plus 3, 2, 2. 322 is the maximum demand of that particular process which we have already executed. In this way, you can say that 3 3, 3, 2 plus 3, 2, 2. Now what will be the final value? 6, 5 and 4. You need to add individually. These values may be greater than 10. So that's why you need to be very careful that you are not adding 332 plus 322. You are adding 332 in 322. Okay. Now check the algorithm once again. Now I am again going to show you the algorithm. Your work is now equal to available. That is okay. Finished I equal to false for every process. That
Sir,
means,
repeat that previous step, sir, once.
okay, once here I am showing you, then we will go there. First I am writing here finish I is equal to false for all the processes. That means we have not executed any process because all the values are false here. First we are initializing like this. Then in the next step we are getting such process who have not executed till now and its need is less than work. So we have found that we can execute P1, P0 we cannot execute, P1's P0's need is not less than work. So we have finalized that P1's need is less than work, so we can execute this P1. In the third step, what we are doing, work is equal to work plus allocation of I. Okay, work is equal to work plus allocation of I. Then we need to check whether we have executed all the processes or not. If we have not executed all the processes, then we need to repeat these steps again and again. What are these steps? You need to check again for another process. Then we need to check again the need with respect to work. Now I'm going there. Uh, Here I have written one wrong thing, that is the values. Here we are adding. We need to add the allocation part only. Allocation means P1's allocation is 200, 2 0 0. Here also 2 0 0, and we will get the final values as 5 3 2. These will be the final values. Now why we are doing this? Because we know after execution all the resources is releasing, all the processes will releasing the resources it is having. No process will take the resources with them. Process will execute and terminate. Resources will be there for other processes. That should be clear to you. Then it is having 200. It is already having 200. If you are giving some resources from here, then after some time this will release all the resources it is having. That's why we are adding the allocation part to the available storage. In simple words, we can say, take an simple example. We have available, here I am again writing, let's say available is equal to 5. At any instance, we have 5 resources. Okay. One process P1 is already having 2 resources. P1 requires one more resource. P1 requires one more resource. So when we will give one resource to P1 so that it can execute, what will be the final availability? When you are giving one resource to P1, P1 will be having total 3 and your available will be reducing, 4 will be the available. So if you are, after some time, P1 will release all the resources, all the 3 resources it is having. So 3 will be added to that 4, will give you total 7 is the availability. P1 is now having 2. If we are going step by step, we can say after some time, we are giving one resource to P1. Okay. Now available will be 4 and P1 will be having 3 resources. After completion of P1, your available will be now 7. 4 plus 3. So what we can do, we can assume that we are not giving one resource here. We are directly adding this allocation part to the available to get the fresh availability of the system. That's why here we are adding the allocation part. If you are adding the maximum, that will be too much. We cannot add the maximum. We have to add the allocation part in the available one to get the final availability of the system. Now someone was asking anything.
Understood, sir.
Okay. Now after this new work, now you need to check the other processes. Now P1 you can remove from the system. P1 is not there now. P1 has already executed. Now you need to check P2. Can we execute P2 with this availability? P2 requires 600. Can we allocate this to P2? No.
No.
Can we allocate this P3? Yes, we can fulfill its request. So after P1, P3 will be executing. After P1, P3 will be executing. Here I am marking the arrow once again. P3 is now executing. Your work will be work plus allocation. I am directly writing here 5, 3, 2 plus allocation of P3, that is 2, 1, 1. You will get the final value as 7, 4, 3. This is your final work in the third step. You have already executed P3. Can we fulfill the request of P4? 4,
Yes.
3, 1. We can allocate. Yes. P4 now can execute. P4 we are executing. Now your work will be 7, 4, 3 plus 0, 0, 2, 0, 0, 2. You will get the final value 7, 4, 5. 7, 4, 5. Okay, P4 has already executed. Now we once again we need to check from the starting until we are getting all the processes. We need to repeat these steps. Can we allocate to P naught? P naught's requirement is
Yes.
743. 743 now we can fulfill. Now P naught can execute. P naught we are executing. Now your work will be I am directly writing here 745 plus 010 755 755. Now P naught has executed. Can we fulfill the request of P2 600? Yes, we can execute P2 also. P2, and then your work will be 755 plus 302 10 5 and 7. 10 5 and 7. After execution of P2, we have found this with these values 10 5 and 7. So after all the execution of the processes, you will be having work as the complete availability of the system. Whatever you were having, the total number of resources, you will get that value only. 10 5 and 7. Now let's check the numerical. 10 5 and 7 we were having. 10 5 and 7 were the total resources. Now you are having that P1, P3, P4, P2, P naught. These order can be different according to which process you are taking next. Some people are doing like this. 1 second. Suppose after P1 you are taking P3 here. After P1 you can go again to check from P naught. This is totally dependent upon the loop. After execution of P1, whether you are going to check P2 or always after execution of a process, you are starting from the top. It is under your hand. But the logic is, can we have any sequence in this particular system? Yes, we are having one sequence, and one sequence we have found is this one. In this order, all the processes can execute. Another order is another order is mentioned here. Another order is this one. Here P2 is first, then we have executed P0. So order doesn't matter. You have to check whether there is a safe sequence or not. If there is a safe sequence, you can say in this situation, there will be no deadlock. Okay. Now, moving forward, in the same numerical, we are having all this current system, the state is same as in the previous problem. Now we need to check P1 is requesting a resource 102, placing a request for 102. Can we allocate these number of resources to P1 or not? P1's demand was let's check the need for P1. P1's need is 122, but it is not asking for the complete need. It is only asking 102. Can we allocate this one to P1 or not? Obviously, I have already told you that even after we are having number of sufficient resources, we cannot say that we are going to provide these resources to P1. We are not sure when we can say that we are going to provide these resources. When after allocating these resources, your system should not be in unsafe state. First, you are checking whether your request is less than available. This request, yes, it is less than available. Less than means you need to check one by one. 1 is less than 2, 0 is less than 3, and 2 is less than 0. Sorry, availability was this one. Availability was 332. This is the final output. Now we have available 332. Can we allocate 102 out of this 332? Yes, we can allocate 102 out of 332. 332 is the current availability of the system. This condition is true. Now what we are doing, we are pretending that we are allocating these resources to P1. We are not actually allocating, we are just pretending to check what will be the situation next. Okay. So if we are giving this 102 to P1, what will happen? I'm clearing this. No need to clear. P1 102. P1 requires 102. Now we are pretending that we are giving these values to P1. Can we give 102? Yes, we are having. We are trying to pretend that we are giving these values to P1. Now, what will be the final value of the allocation of P1? P1 is already having 200. Now we are giving these number of resources to P1. P1 will be having here I am writing new available, sorry, new allocation of P1 will be 200 plus 102. New allocation of P1 will be this one because we are already giving this number of resources to P1. This will give you the new allocation as 3 0 P1's new allocation will be 302. Okay. Now max will be the same. Max will not differ. Can we say its need will be changed? Yes. If allocation is changed and max is same, then also need will be changed. Need will be reduced or increased. Need will be reduced because we are already giving some values to this P1. So its need will be changed. Need will be, current need is 1, 2, 2, and now we are allocating 1, 0, 2. So we need to minus, subtract these values from the need because we are already giving these values. So this should be reflected in your need matrix. Your final need value will be 0, 2, 0. This will be the need. Whose need? Process P1's need, because process P1 is requesting this resource and we are pretending to give to P1 only. Whether your available will be changed or not? Yes, because we are giving some values from the availability. Na? That's why your available will also be reduced. Your new available will be available. Available was 332. Now you are already giving 1, 0, 2. What will be the final values? 2, 3, 0. Your available is this one. But now check that allocation of process P1 is 302. Allocation of process P1 is 302 now. Okay. Its need is now 020. Its need is now 020. Your new available is 230. Your new available is 230. All other things will be the same because you are only pretending that you are giving these resources to P1 only, not the other processes. All other things will be the same in the system. Now, once again, I am going to the algorithm part. Algorithm of resource request algorithm. This one. Here you can check. First, what you are checking? Request should be less than need. Yes, request is less than need. Otherwise, it will be an error. And no process can request more than its need. Then we will check whether your request is less than available. If it is not less than available, you can directly say you cannot provide these resources to that process. But if your resource is less than available, that means you can allocate. You may allocate. Okay. So now here we are pretending that we are giving these resources to P1 process. Then what are the changes? Your available will be available equal to available minus request. Allocation will be allocation plus request. Your need will be need minus request. These three will be changed. Now you are having another problem. Now you need to check whether this situation is a safe state or not. If this particular state is a safe state, then you can say we can actually allocate these number of resources to process P1. If the current state is not safe state, then you can say you are not going to allocate any resource to P1 because it is not safe. So you need to again follow the safety algorithm here. Again, you need to find out a sequence. If you are able to find any sequence, then you can say it is a safe state, so you can allocate the resources to process P1. In the same way, we are having few more numericals. Can we allocate these number of resources by P4? Can we allocate these number of resources to P1, P0? So if we are having such kind of problem, you always need to pretend that you are giving these resources, and after giving, you are going to check whether the current state, whatever you are getting, is safe or not.